yesterday's video, I got mostly positive feedback where I was reiterating, among other things, I was reiterating the difference between red pill and black pill. Red pill and black pill. Because I find that if there's two pills that tend to be confused and conflated for each other many times, is the red pill and mindset and the black pill mindset. And I almost feel compelled to at least 2 or 3 times a month to distinguish the difference. Now, blue pill and red pill are never confused for each other. I don't think blue pill and purple pill are rarely, if ever, confused and conflated for each other. And red pill and purple pill are rarely, if ever, confused and conflated each other. But red pill and black pill tend to very much, similar to my 4 modes of behavior, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, mode 1 and mode 4. I have a lot of guys who tend to confuse and conflate mode 1 behavior and mode 4 behavior because they both involve bold, upfront, very verbally direct, straightforward honesty. But the difference is mode 4 has undertones of anger, bitterness, resentment, and antagonism, and harsh criticism. Whereas mode 1 is just more about being straightforwardly honest in a manner that's smooth and seductive and centers around just letting women know what your true romantic or strictly sexual desires, interests, and intentions are. Here's what I will say about black pill versus red pill. See, here's the problem. And I think I've said this before, so this is me repeating myself, but I repeat myself a lot. A lot of men always want to concentrate on the differences between men and women's behavior, more specifically, men and women's sexual behavior, men and women's emotional composition and disposition, and men and women's moral character and integrity. A lot of men love to point out our differences. But one thing you've heard me say in a lot of videos is that a lot of men make the mistake of overlooking our similarities. Our similarities. And as I had a woman who commented in my comment section yesterday, who goes by the name, I think, Mystical Me. She said, she made a comment that I actually half agree with, and she said one thing I agree with and one thing I disagree with. The thing she said that I disagree with, she said, Alan, she actually accused me of being a woman basher. She said I was a woman basher. I've never been called a woman basher before. Oh, no, I take that back. No, that might be the second time. If any of y'all familiar with a black female YouTuber by the name of Deborah Cooper, I remember back in 2009, 2010, I had some women who were fans and supporters of Deborah Cooper that once categorized me as a chauvinistic, sexist, chauvinistic woman basher. And their main justification for it, they said, he tends to emphasize casual sex more than he does long-term meaningful relationships. And therefore, he's sexist, he's chauvinistic, and he bashes women. Really? Let me give y'all, what do you call that? A post? What do you call it? After the fact, posthumous, whatever you call it, for Deborah Cooper supporters. Insert dog face here. So to all of Deborah Cooper's fans and supporters now Deborah Cooper herself didn't say that, but her fans and supporters did. And I say to them, shut the fuck up. Mystical Me actually called me a woman basher, and her justification for calling me that is she said I shouldn't be separating women's true nature from men's true nature. She said I should just refer to both men and women's nature as just human nature. And honestly, to a large degree, she is technically right. I don't wholeheartedly disagree with that assertion. I disagree with the fact that she called me a woman basher, because I don't bash women. As a lot of my people pointed out in their response to her comment, I had one or two guys say Alan is probably the most fair and balanced podcaster on YouTube when it comes to assessing and evaluating the flaws and weaknesses of men's behavior versus assessing and evaluating the flaws and weaknesses of women's behavior. I would argue that I'm the most fair and balanced and objective podcaster on YouTube. Bar none. Shit. My commentary is never negatively slanted towards men, and my commentary is rarely, if ever, negatively slanted towards women. Like in respect to my books. Mode 1, as I mentioned before, is my book where I'm basically calling out the manipulative head games and sexual duplicity of men. And then, Ooh Say It Again is where I call out women's sexual duplicity, and Possibility of Sex is where I call out women's tendency to engage in manipulative head games. So in my books, I'm very balanced, fair and balanced. But what I was going to say is that here's where a lot of guys get fucked up with the different mindsets, aka the different pills. See, a lot of men, I'll start with blue pill. This is, in a nutshell, blue pill men's problem. Blue pill men are men who believe or at least want to believe that women are less capable of scandalous behavior, manipulative behavior, adulterous and unfaithful behavior, and sexually duplicitous behavior. That's what blue pill guys, where they make their mistake. Their main mistake is that they believe, or at least want to believe, that women are far less capable of scandalous behavior, misleading and manipulative behavior, adulterous and unfaithful behavior, promiscuous and or polyamorous behavior, and just overall sexually duplicitous behavior. That's blue pill men's problem in a nutshell. That's the starting point of their problem. They want to believe that women are less capable of those various aspects of behavior. On the flip side, black pill men, their main problem is that they tend to categorize women as being significantly more scandalous than the average man is, significantly more misleading and manipulative than the average man is, significantly more promiscuous and or polyamorous than the average man is, significantly more adulterous and unfaithful than the average man is, and just overall have significantly a lower degree of moral character and integrity than the average man is, which is bullshit. That's bullshit. And red pill is a guy who's pretty much right in the middle. Given those two extremes, red pill is someone who's right in the middle. He doesn't look at women as being significantly more scandalous than men are as a group, like black pill men do. But at the same time, he doesn't look at them as being significantly less scandalous and adulterous and unfaithful and promiscuous and polyamorous and misleading and manipulative compared to men. Basically, a red pill guy, in real simplistic terms, is the guy who says women are essentially just like us in terms of their capability to be scandalous, in terms of their capability to be promiscuous and or polyamorous, in terms of their capability to be adulterous and unfaithful, in terms of their capability to be misleading and manipulative, in terms of their capability to compromise their moral character and integrity. A red pill guy is a guy who says women are no better than us, but they're no worse than us. They're about the same as us. And see, a lot of men can't handle that. That's the reality. A lot of men, I've had men actually say that to me. So that's not just me talking out my ass. I've had men say to me, there's some men who've actually told me that they feel like women should be more sexually self-controlled than the average man, more disciplined when it comes to their sexuality than the average man, more strictly monogamous than the average man, more resistant to seduction and sexual advances than the average man. You're unrealistic if you believe that and you desire that. You're an unrealistic motherfucker. But again, I've literally had men tell me that. Like, I've had some men, they say, well, Alan, to me, women aren't worth dating and they aren't worth marrying if they aren't capable of exhibiting more sexual restraint, sexual self-control, sexual self-discipline than us men. Like, I've heard men make this ridiculous statement even here on YouTube. Do you know some men will say stuff like, well, men, we were born to cheat. We were born to cheat and fuck multiple women, but women were not. Women are going, some men believe women are going against their nature when they engage in promiscuous behavior, polyamorous behavior, and or adulterous and unfaithful behavior. And that's why I did my infamous video called The Myth of the Prudish and Monogamy-Oriented Good Girl, which was probably to this day one of my top 5 most popular videos. The Myth of the Prudish and Monogamy-Oriented Good Girl. Because there's some men who actually believe that. They believe men were born to be promiscuous and or polyamorous, but women were more so born to be prudish or at least semi-prudish and strictly monogamous. Nigga. Please. Are you serious? Don't be a dumb fuck all your life. If you're one of the guys who believes that. Don't be a dumb fuck all your fucking life. Women ain't no different than us, other than the fact that they got a pussy and titties, and we got a dick. And even some overweight men got titties. So some men got dick and titties, and women got pussy and titties. I mean, no doubt, we do have some differences between us in the way we see things and the way we operate in some respects, but we also have a hell of a lot of similarities. And I've pointed them out a number of times. Like, for example, a lot of men want to marry a strictly monogamy-oriented good girl, but they want to fuck around on the side with women who are more kinky and more promiscuous and or polyamorous as their side bitches or their mistresses. But yet, y'all don't think women are the same way. Women don't want to do the same thing. They want a good man as the husband, fiance, or long-term boyfriend, and more specifically, a man who's going to be faithfully monogamous to them, but then they want to have side dudes. Like I've been a woman's side dude. They want side dudes that they can get occasional, either regular, semi-regular, occasional dick from and be kinky with and show them the real slut side that they really have. What the fuck makes y'all think that women are significantly different than us when it comes to sexuality? What? Now, I ain't gonna lie. I'll put a little part of the blame on society in general. And that's what a lot of men have pointed out. A lot of men will say, Alan, you got to cut me some slack because society is the one who feeds us this bullshit that women are more prudish than us or more strictly monogamous than us or more beyond reproach than us, and etc. Which is at least halfway true. A lot of TV shows almost promote that. Movies promote that. Media and entertainment industry in general promote that. Some factions of organized religion promote that. So yeah, I give you that. Society feeds men a lot of bullshit about women. And I've already covered that in a few videos why that is. The powers that be know what they're doing. Final commentary. Oh yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, Alan, I mentioned this before, a lot of people have said, Alan, you should write another book. And if you do, your next book should center around BDSM and polyamory. BDSM and polyamory. Now, some guys are in favor of long-term polyamorous relationships, and other people are critical of them. Like I've had some people say, well, Alan, when you're in a polyamorous relationship, aren't you essentially just operating as a cuckold? Aren't you essentially operating as a cuckold? No. And I've explained that before. No, you're not. What is a cuckold? And I've given this definition probably on 2 or 3 previous videos. Since that term is thrown out a lot in the manosphere, he's a cuck. He's a cuck. You're a cuck. He's a cuck. What's a cuck? He's a cuckold. You know, you're a cuckold, blah, blah, blah. What is a cuck? Well, there's 2 variations, number one. There's 2 variations of a cuckold. There's one, the formal definition of a cuckold. Then there's the BDSM/polyamorous variation and description of a cuckold. One is voluntary. In other words, the man is a cuckold and he consciously is aware of the fact that he's a cuckold. That would be the BDSM polyamorous variation of a cuckold. And the more formal definition of cuckold is when a guy doesn't really realize he's a cuckold until it's too late. Here's the formal definition of a cuckold. A cuckold falls into 1 or 2 categories as far as the formal definition. Is either when you're married or at minimum you're cohabitating with a woman. You're married to a woman and at minimum you're cohabitating with a woman, and your wife or cohabitation partner is frequently exhibiting, indulging in, engaging in adulterous and unfaithful behavior behind your back, and you're like essentially the last one to find out about it. So let's say you either married to a woman or you were cohabitating to a woman, and your wife or cohabitation partner was sleeping with like 6 different guys in your neighborhood, and like almost everybody in the neighborhood knew she was fucking around on you behind your back, and you were almost like the last person to find out about it. That would make you a cuckold. That would be part of the formal definition of a cuckold. People would say, damn, she cuckolded that motherfucker. Yeah, anytime your wife or cohabitation partner, romantic companion is cheating on you on a regular basis, and almost everybody knows she's cheating on you, but you're like in the dark about it. You have no clue until it's, basically too late. That essentially means you've been cuckolded by a woman. Second formal definition of a cuckold, and the more prominent definition of a cuckold, is when you're married or you've been in a long-term romantic relationship, preferably a cohabitation relationship, and your wife or cohabitation partner gets pregnant by another dude, and you, instead of you breaking up with her immediately or divorcing her immediately, you decide to raise that other man's son or daughter as if it's your own. As if it's your own. That would make you officially a cuckold. That's actually the most prominent definition of a cuckold. Is when your wife, fiance, or long-term girlfriend gets pregnant by another dude, and instead of you just dropping that bitch like that, you say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and help you raise this other man's son or daughter. And she said, oh, you're so sweet, honey. I love you so much. I love you so much for helping me raise your coworker's son and daughter, or your boss's son and daughter, your best friend's son and daughter, as if it's your own. You're so sweet. No, that ain't sweet. That's called being a motherfucking no backbone cuckold. So that's the 2 formal definitions of cuckold. Then within the world of BDSM and polyamory, a cuckold is a man that chooses to be the submissive and subservient partner in a relationship. Yeah, if you're in a relationship with a woman, whether it's a marriage or just a long-term relationship, cohabitation relationship, and you basically allow your wife or female partner to dominate you, and even more so verbally abuse you and disrespect you in the company of other people, and on top of that, she brings men to your place known as bulls and fucks them right in front of you, and she's talking down to you and verbally abusing you while she's doing it, that means that in the BDSM world or polyamory world, that means you're a cuckold. You're a cuckold. Now, to clarify, there's some men who allow their wives and partners to fuck other men that are not cuckolds. So a lot of guys have this impression that if any man who allows their wife, fiance, or girlfriend to have additional sex partners or lovers, he's a cuck. No, that's not true. That's y'all being just haters. No, because the most common would be simply guys who are into what's known as swinging, which is a form of polyamory, swinging and or couple swapping. Swinging and or couple swapping. Men who are into swinging or couple swapping, they're into voyeurism, which is they get off on watching their wife, fiance, or girlfriend have sex with another man. So they're into voyeurism, but that doesn't make them a cuckold. That doesn't make them a cuckold because they're not submitting to their partner. You're not officially a cuckold until you're submitting to your partner. Like, that's the difference between if you're familiar with BDSM and polyamory, the difference between what's known as a hot wife and a slut wife. I'm sure most of y'all have heard those two terms, hot wife and slut wife. A hot wife is part of what's known as a bull hot wife cuckold relationship. And in that relationship, the cuckold, that's where the woman is what's known as a switch. She's a switch, which means she's both dominant and submissive. She's dominant with her cuckold and she's submissive to her bulls. That's a hot wife. A slut wife would be the wife or partner of a swinger or a couple swapper. They nickname that a slut wife. But for all you guys who are saying, well, Alan, I know you're into long-term polyamorous relationships. Doesn't that technically make you a cuck? A cuck because you're knowingly allowing your romantic companion or spouse to have sex with other men? Well, let's say you engaging in nothing but casual sex. And you got a favorite fuck buddy. If you got a favorite fuck buddy that you're not in a relationship with, you know she fucking other motherfuckers. You know she fucking other motherfuckers. So if you're going to define a guy as a cuck simply because he knowingly allows her to fuck other guys, then that means any guy who has fuck buddies who are fucking other men is a fucking cuckold. If we're going to define it that way, that means if you got a fuck buddy who's fucking another motherfucker, you a cuckold. No, just the fact that you allow a woman to have one or more additional lovers does not make you a cuckold. Another clarification about polyamory. A lot of people think polyamory means you can just do what the fuck you want to do. You can just fuck anybody you want to. No. Anybody who believes that's the way it works, you ain't truly been in a truly polyamorous relationship. Even in a polyamorous relationship, there's rules, guidelines, and boundaries. Rules, guidelines, and boundaries. Man, usually when you're in a polyamorous relationship, which is what I've been in, most of my long-term relationships have been polyamorous relationships. And one thing I'll just speak for myself. When I'm in a polyamorous relationship, my partners have to be honest. They have to be honest. In other words, they can't fuck another motherfucker behind my back and not tell me. See, here's what people don't realize about cheating. That's truly what cheating is. A lot of people think cheating is simply when your spouse or romantic companion has sex with someone else is what constitutes cheating. No, actually, that's not true. That's not true. What makes it cheating is the fact that you establish that your relationship is going to be strictly monogamous, and you're putting on the facade for your spouse or partner that you're adhering to that standard. But behind that person's back, you're violating that standard. That's what makes it cheating. In other more simple terms, it's when somebody has sex with somebody and tries to hide it or lie about it. That's what makes it cheating. If you establish from the outset that we're going to have a strictly monogamous relationship, but then either you don't adhere to that or your spouse or partner doesn't adhere to that, that's when one of you two or both of you two are cheating. Whereas, see, in a polyamorous relationship, the way most polyamorous relationship works is your spouse or partner would come to you and say, hey, I've met someone who I'm leaning towards being intimate with. Do you have a problem with it? And then I, as a partner, would either say yay or nay. Because see, here would be my deal breakers. Here's my deal breakers in any polyamorous relationship. I have 3 deal breakers in any polyamorous relationship. Matter of fact, right now I'm in a polyamorous relationship. Or another term for it is, I call it a voluntarily monogamous or a non-obligatory monogamous relationship. That's another, or a flexible monogamous relationship. Here's what I don't tolerate when I'm in a polyamorous relationship. I already mentioned one. Dishonesty. Blatant dishonesty. If I'm in a polyamorous relationship and my partner has sex with another dude and she tries to hide it from me or lie about it, once I find out, she's gone. She's dismissed. Relationship's over. If I'm in a polyamorous relationship and a woman comes up pregnant by another dude, instantly over. I ain't gonna be no dude's cuckold. I ain't raising no other man's kids. Fuck that. Relationship's instantly over. Third is if the dude gives her some type of STD. Because preferably in a polyamorous relationship, if y'all gonna be having sex with multiple people, y'all should engage in safe sex practices. Y'all shouldn't be doing raw dog. Because then you open up the door to bring diseases into your relationship. I ain't never had an STD in my life. Let me knock on wood. I always knock on wood. Yeah, I'm 56 years old. And I can't say that. Most of my friends can't say that. I'd say at least 2/3 of my high school friends, college friends, and general acquaintances, they've had at least one STD in their life. I've never had an STD. Never. Not one time. And I've engaged in quite a bit of raw dog sex in my life too. But I've never had an STD or an STI. Now they have 2, STD and STI. But, so yeah, when you're in a polyamorous relationship, that doesn't mean you have a green light to just fuck, the window washer at Arby's if the woman feels like it, or you can go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and see a bitch with a big booty and you can just fuck her when you feel like it. No. To me, if you just fucking pretty much anybody you want to, without any type of rules, guidelines, or parameters, or boundaries, that ain't really a polyamorous relationship. That's more of just a fuck buddy relationship. That's what that is to me. That's a fuck buddy relationship. That's basically what fuck buddies do. When you're in a fuck buddy relationship, you don't have no rules or guidelines or parameters or boundaries. You just fuck anybody you feel like fucking. To me, that's more of a fuck buddy relationship. Even if y'all happen to be married, to me, y'all still fuck buddies. Y'all ain't in polyamorous relationship. Polyamory is a relationship that's halfway between promiscuity and strict monogamy. It's halfway between promiscuity and strict monogamy. Yeah, there are some degree of rules, guidelines, parameters, and boundaries involved in a polyamorous relationship. But yeah, somebody asked me, Alan, now that you're in a relationship that looks like you're going to have kids with this woman, is that going to change your stance on monogamy? Because I know you say in the Beta Male Revolution that you don't believe in long-term strict monogamy. I don't believe in long-term strict monogamy. I wouldn't go as far. I always have to clarify. I've never said I don't believe in monogamy, period. I don't believe in strict or obligatory monogamy. Strict or obligatory monogamy. I believe in what I refer to as voluntary monogamy, which is simply when you're monogamous to someone because you genuinely want to be. Or another term I have for it is non-obligatory monogamy. Non-obligatory monogamy. I don't like to force any woman I'm in a relationship to be monogamous with me because I know realistically this is part of me being red pill. I know realistically that ain't gonna work. You can't ever, particularly in today's society, you can't, with birth control methods and shit, you an idiot if you try to force your woman to be monogamous to you. Seriously. If you tell your wife, you bitch, you better not cheat on me, you better not cheat on me, man, you almost inviting that woman to cheat. You almost inviting that woman to cheat. And I'm just keeping it real with you. You almost inviting that woman to cheat. I don't ever like to display jealousy or over possessiveness or being overly territorial with women, because that's when you almost provoke women to cheat on your ass. Because you hear me say this comment multiple times. Women, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, women are going to fuck who they really want to fuck. I don't care if that woman's your wife. I don't care if she's your fiance. I don't care if she got a big ass ring on her finger. If she meets a guy that she really wants to fuck, she gonna fuck him. She gonna find a way to fuck him. You might as well prepare yourself for that shit. She gonna find a way to fuck him. That's not to say that you can't administer consequences and repercussions if she does fuck somebody that you don't want her to fuck. Yeah, if a woman lies to me about fucking, we're done. Woman gets pregnant by another dude, we're done. Woman contracts an STD from another dude, me and her done. Done. But I think BDSM relationships and polyamorous relationships are going to be the wave of the future. I really do. And that's why I think a lot of people want me to write a book on BDSM and polyamory. Because different articles I've read and studies that have been conducted are already pointing that way. Like do you know the bull hot wife cuckold relationship, according to one article I read, this was about 5 years ago, is the fastest growing alternative sexual relationship in the country, if not in the world? That specific type of relationship, which combines elements of BDSM and elements of polyamory, that's the fastest growing alternative sexual relationship in society, is the bull hot wife cuckold. Now, some people might say, Alan, I've addressed this at least once before. Some people might say, Alan, why would anybody want to be a cuckold voluntarily? I can tell you at least one reason. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I mentioned this in my book. Who'll say it again? Yeah, if there's two books that I touch on both BDSM and polyamory, but not in real lengthy or specific detail. Who'll say it again? I have at least one chapter where I touch on BDSM, and in Beta Male Revolution, I touch on polyamory. But here's the one advantage for those that don't see any advantage. I hear a lot of you guys on social media, and particularly here on YouTube, talking about wanting to be with a woman out of your league. Out of your league. I'm just going to break it down to you, real talk. Being a woman's BDSM or polyamorous cuckold is probably your best chance. Your best chance to snag a woman that's out of your league. And that's real talk. That's real talk. A lot of men, let's put it this way. If you gave most men a choice between being an indefinite incel, where they're going to be just basically masturbating to porn for the rest of their life, or being a woman's cuckold, I guarantee at least 50% of those men would choose being a cuckold. And that's real talk. If you got a choice between being an incel, or if not an incel, just only being able to hook up with women that are like, on a scale from 1 to 10, that are 2s, 3s, and 4s, a lot of men would rather be a cuckold. Because that's the main advantage for a cuckold. And again, I explain that in my book, Who Said Again. The main advantage for most men who are BDSM and polyamorous cuckolds is that if you're a man that's, say, in terms of physical attractiveness and sex appeal, in terms of the combination of your physical attractiveness and sex appeal, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you rank in the area of a 2, a 3, or a 4. If you're not either a super wealthy sugar daddy, or you're not willing to be a cuckold, you ain't never pulling no 8, 9, or 10. I'll put money on that. I guarantee you not. You ain't gonna ever pull no 8, 9, or 10. It's possible possible for a man to pull a woman that's slightly out of his league without the benefit of wealth or being a cuckold. And I help men do that. Like, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 5 or a 6, and you're looking to pull a woman that's a 7 or an 8 or maybe even a 9. I can help men do that even without the benefit of that man having great wealth or being relegated to being a cuckold. But when you're talking about a man that's a 2, 3, or 4, and he's trying to hook up with an 8, 9, or 10, the only way, there's only 2 ways, generally speaking, you're going to hook up with an 8, 9, or 10 if you're a 2 or 3 or 4. And that's if you're either a ridiculously wealthy sugar daddy type motherfucker or you willing to be a cuckold. Other than those 2 options, you either going to be an incel or you're going to have to hook up with women who are 2s, 3s, and 4s. Trust me when I say that. Trust me when I say that. BDSM Polyamory is going to be the wave of the future. And in my Patreon exclusive portion today, I'm just going to give you some of the basics of BDSM Domination 101. BDSM Domination 101. Matter of fact, most of y'all should know I got a site, mo1.net/training. mo1.net/training. That's where I cover BDSM consultations and polyamorous consultations. Is mo1.net/training. But yeah, I'm going to be giving the basics in my Patreon exclusive portion. Join me there.